So this is the third stanza. When I joined the movement, I thought that this particular verse was an allegory, was some kind of parable, metaphor, that because I didn't think it was possible to be humble like a blade of grass or tolerant like a tree. This was obviously referring to some imaginary state, and it was comparing it that we should be like this. But the other day in Palanga, Lithuania, Yasaki Prabhu kindly illuminated me on this quiz, on this quandary that I had for so many years. He said actually the first two are allegorical, because it is a fact, you can't be grass or a tree. But the way to become like that is the third line, amarina amaralena, which means you give respect to others without expecting respect. You get rid of your prestige. Whatever imaginary thing you think you are not that. So if you get rid of that, you will be actually getting eventually to that platform. This verse also arises some other issues, or many issues actually. One of them is how potent is the devotees chanting as compared to non-devotees. One day, many years ago, during a Kirtana mela in a different location, Sachinanda Maharaj asked me, he said, if you get across to see Krishnadas, then go, because want to see what his method is. And I think Maharaj was acquainted with him at the time. And so I went to, he happened to come to our town, Santa Barbara, so I went to see him. There were maybe 200 people, and they were all very enthusiastic about his chanting. And he chanted all these, Ganesh mantras and Durga mantras and so on. I eventually got to the Hare Krishna mantra. And I felt nothing, to tell you the truth. I was just bored. He chanted and chanted and chanted, and the musicians were fair, some good, some not so great, but they were all equally decent. But I couldn't really relate to his chanting. There was no Krishna being invoked. It was somewhat of a performance. So from that day on, I nicknamed him Krishna Doesn't. I hope you don't mind. Because it wasn't really Krishna, what he brought to the public. And on another occasion, I went to a party that was given by a friend of mine, formerly a total materialist, very qualified person materially, a journalist, wrote for the LA Times, a freelancer, he writes biographies and a ghostwriter for some of the rich, influential people. And I happened to live with him for a little while. I was in Santa Barbara, still as a brahmachari, and I didn't really have a place to stay, so he said, well, why don't you share the rent with me? He was living in a nice place, and I did. So I was, cooking, offering prasadam, and pacing around, chanting my rounds. So eventually, some kind of influence he got, and he started inquiring about spiritual life. And as a result, he joined a different society. Of course, this is the result of my preaching. He went wrong. He became a Siddha Yoga member, and actually he went quite up in that society. And he invited me to the celebration of his 1-year anniversary, being a member of an active member of Siddha Yoga. So I did go. It was in Malibu, in California, in a mansion overlooking the ocean on a hill. So I parked my car about a block away, and because I was embarrassed of having a typical devotee vehicle, I didn't want to park it next to the Mercedes and BMWs and so on. And I went there, and it happened to be Ekadasi, so I had a good excuse to decline whatever food they had, even though it was all vegetarian. And there was a grand piano, and there was a cello, and a sitar, and there's a lot of musicians that were quite good. So they started playing a these songs. Again, mantras, Ganesh and Ayappa, whatever imaginary deities they have in this society. And it was okay, it was fine. But then they started chanting Hare Krishna. And that was painful. That wasn't like Krishna doesn't. This was really harmful. I felt that my heart was being stabbed with a knife when they chanted Hare Krishna. It wasn't that I was looking for that or trying to put on a, I'm a devotee and you guys are not. No, it was actually hurting my heart. It was so painful that I had to actually excuse myself, leave the house, and I ran to my car up the hill, and I drove. I was staying in the LA temple for a few days, so I drove, just meditating. I need to see someone with neck beads, tilak, and with a bead bag right now. I just can't take this pain anymore. So I will tell you that there is a difference between devotees and non-devotees chanting. And the interesting thing about chanting is that, particularly japa, there is no material counterpart. When we dance, and everybody in the material world likes to dance, so most people do, and we eat good food, prasadam, vegetarian, and all that, but people also eat, and they have derived joy. Any activity that we practice in Krishna consciousness may have a material counterpart, except for japa. There is no material counterpart. There is no fun. And like if you have, instead of Kirtana mela, you have a japa mela. I don't think we're going to have that many people here. 12 hours of japa a day. And then Bhakta Bob is going to chant japa for the next hour. So please come. And then Bhaktin Suzy is going to chant japa for the next hour. Who's going to actually sit for that? So there is no fun, but we can make it fun because it's your relationship with Krishna. It's a personal thing, and you're supposed to concentrate. There is no escape. The music stopped, your friends are gone, there is no food. Sit down and do the business. So this is our business, is to chant. And when we chant, we have to actually be humble, because if you're not humble, Krishna is not really interested in your chant. Like Prabhupada said, if you think of Krishna 24 hours a day, Krishna will think of you 26 hours a day. And if you think of yourself, Krishna will think of himself. So that's the deal. So you have to actually attract the attention of Krishna. And it's not easy, because Krishna already has everything. What are you going to offer Krishna that Krishna doesn't have? What are your goodies? What do you have in your box? Nothing but your love. Unless you offer your love and devotion, Krishna is not really interested. You're chanting just to get through. I have a particular technique that I've been trying to use, that I chant, of course, I go between Nama Parad and Nama Bas, most of my life. And then when I get to 15 rounds, I try to give up this and concentrate on the last round. At least, come on, I'm almost done. I can't really slow down and try to listen to every name. So this is a good technique to make it progressive. In other words, you get to 15, then you chant one good round. Then the next day or next week, you go to 14 and chant 2 good rounds. And then progressively go to all of them. Chant into it. But I haven't, although I've been doing this for years, I still do it to 15 because I have there's no hope that anything will happen. Now the difference between japa and kirtan, as in kirtan, you can, as I was saying, there's no material counterpart to japa. You can actually do kirtan without thinking of Krishna. And the devotees can dance and forget that the deities are here, forget the holy name, forget everything, you're just having fun. But in japa, you can't really get away. You have to think of Krishna. You should think of Krishna. You think, at least you should hear the name, because otherwise it will be painful all the way through. It's very painful. And as far as the heart, which is what Krishna wants, we have to train it. just like the brain or the mind, they're not muscles, but should be exercised regularly. And so is the heart. The heart is a muscle, actually. And Krishna, the soul and super soul are within the region of the heart. So they should be talking to each other, should be communicating. And in order to do that, we have to clean up the barrier between the two. So we should make a practice that every day we should increase our attention and try to understand that unless we change our attitude towards ourselves, towards Krishna, towards others, there's not going to be any more clarity that we have right now. Right now, we're in front of Krishna, Radha Madhava Mohan. They're no different. We're in front of Krishna every day when we chant. Krishna's name is not a representation of Krishna. Krishna's name is Krishna. It is our unwillingness, really, to see that. Just like when you go to, let's say you go to a sporting event, you go to a stadium where you are with someone that you love, and there's 100,000 people there. And the 100,000 people, they see this person you're sitting with as an ordinary person, because they don't have love for this person. But you see this person differently. So we should actually have that attitude towards Krishna, towards japa, towards everything that is related. Of course, towards kirtan, the devotees are always attracted to kirtan. Kirtan is wonderful, just like the first verse of the Shikshastra. And this Sankirtan is meant to cleanse everybody's heart. So we have to deliver the holy name to others. That's how we get more of the holy name to ourselves. It will increase our desire to chant. And as far as an identity crisis, who am I haven't decided, I haven't figured out who I am existentially and what I should do and so on. Just chant Hare Krishna. Let Krishna sort that out. Don't worry about that part. Like if you do business for a boss, the boss will take care of you. He will front the money, sign the checks, and give you all the benefits. So that is one thing that we should work on, to develop this understanding that Krishna is in charge, and Krishna has not forgotten us. Krishna is actually very, very aware and very expectant of our next move, because he's always moving towards us and we are not exactly always moving towards him. So we have to make a serious effort to capture, to understand, just like in the story of the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Gopa Kumara goes back to Godhead. So don't you all wonder what will happen if we ever go back to Godhead? Are you going to have bad dreams about being in the material world? Are you going to think, oh, Krishna probably doesn't know who I am, I've been gone for so long? But in the story we see that Krishna embraces Gopakumara and said, I missed you. Where were you? How are you? So there is no separation between Krishna and us. We are simply creating this barrier due to our tiny, insignificant material desires that we blow up, or we blow them out of proportion, thinking, oh, I'm overwhelmed by this or that. But the chanting will cut right through anything. There was a story of Alexander the Great. There was a big gate with a knot called the Gordian knot. It was so tangled up that it was impossible to untie, but he just cut it with a sword. So this is what the holy name does. It cuts the Gordian knot that is our heart attached to any material desires that we may have. One thing is when we leave this sadhu sangha, this association with devotees, we are going to feel, well, it's natural that the devotees will feel separation to one degree or another and think, oh, but now my life is back to normal and I have to associate with non-devotees and I have to become in contact with the material nature and it's very difficult, and to keep my rounds and to do puja, whatever practices are in our sadhana. But there's one thing that you're taking with you. You're taking the name, you're taking Krishna with you. So don't forget that. You have the association of Krishna at any given time. And whether it's to listening to Kirtana, to chanting dhama, or to simply remembering the times where you were here. And in other places where the devotees are, you understand your devotees are your real family, and they're your life and soul. There's nobody else that will replace them. That should be enough to keep you, to maintain you until the next time. And as far as our problems and daily life and so on, stop complaining. If you could see within your heart, you would stop complaining, because there's a lot of stuff and you got more than what you bargained for. The gift of Krishna consciousness, I don't know how is your case, but I can't remember, at least in this lifetime, since I can't remember any other lifetimes, I can't remember doing any pious activity that will make me deserve to be in the association of devotees. Maybe you do, but I can't. So this is all causeless mercy for everybody. We all got on first. We got on the bus somehow by stroke of good fortune. We are all Bhagavan. We are all very fortunate. And now we should make the best use of this rare gift of devotional service. And devotional service is actually a rare gift. Krishna will give mystic cities and opulence and whatever you want. But devotional service, particularly pure devotional service, that he won't give, because he's the key to his heart, and he's not about to. Krishna is a person. He has feelings. He doesn't want someone to turn around and say, "Well, Krishna, it was nice meeting you, but now I have other business to attend. I love someone else." So if you actually commit to loving Krishna, then Krishna will give you the key to his heart. And if you don't, then you won't get it.